Erik Ten Hag has been sacked as the Manchester United manager. Breaking news. Erik Ten Hag has been dismissed officially as the manager of Manchester United. Maybe this is a bit of a bolt from the blue for some people, but it is official. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. But Ten Hag has gone. The Football Terrace breaking news in the last few moments. Manchester United have sacked the manager, Erik Ten Hag. This is official news. This is officially done. This is officially just come out right now. The Man United statement we will present to you in due course. I want to get your immediate thoughts, your immediate reactions to this breaking news, but it is official. It is official. It is over the line. It is done and it is dusted. Let's go of the reactions that we are seeing here. Man United fans everywhere will be feeling a sense of maybe just even euphoria, I think, based on this news. I think there'll be a lot of Man United fans happy. There'll be a lot of Man United fans maybe even a little bit frustrated at this news as well. But remember, people, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. We want to get your instant reaction to this. We will be bringing you a panel. But the statement, I want to read this to you now, from Manchester United reads, Erik Ten Hag has left his role as the Manchester United first-team manager. Erik was appointed in April 2022 and led the club to 2 domestic trophies, winning the Carabao Cup in 2023 and the FA Cup in 2024. We are grateful for everything that Erik has done during his time here. Ruud van Nistelrooy will take charge as the interim coach, supported by the current coaching team, whilst a permanent head coach is recruited. So it is now official. It is now official. It is now done. It is now over the line. It is now agreed upon that the manager has gone. I'm just updating a few things here. Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to take over for the foreseeable future as the interim manager. So Ineos here addressing their mistake. Ineos here admitting they've got it wrong. Ineos here taking action, proactive action to remove this manager. And look, it was an horrendous start to the season. Nobody can deny that. Nobody is going to push against that. Nobody is going to say anything other than it was a terrible start to the season, sitting 14th, 15th in the league, only with 11 points. It's been a horrendous return. The European form has been awful. It absolutely has been. I know yesterday you could blame the players for missing chances. There was a terrible VAR decision. All of these things in yesterday's result, you could say, weren't on the manager. But even if we won yesterday, we're still sitting in a terrible position. We've still had the worst start to a season ever in the history of our football club. That cannot be denied. That cannot be changed. That cannot be discussed in any way. That cannot be sort of ripped into in any way, any shape, or in any form. And I believe this is the correct decision. This is the right thing that has happened. And look, we want to get your thoughts. We want to get your feelings on this. We put the chat onto slow mode as well, so we can actually see what's going on. So yes, finally is what Red Devil Revel has got to say here. Andre's a Liverpool fan that says no, as if he can't believe it. Southgate, the new Man United manager. We will see. We will see what will happen in that space. United, as I say, officially announced it. Fabrizio has put this out. Has put out some tweets about it as well. I didn't even realize. So Ornstein actually broke the news 13 minutes ago. And he says here that Man United sack Erik Ten Hag, the 54-year-old Dutchman, informed by Man United of the decision this morning. Ruud van Nistelrooy asked to take charge on an interim basis, with the rest of the staff remaining in position for now. As the words there of David Ornstein on this situation. We see a lot of people here wanting to see Southgate come into the football club. 1 second. Liaz has just messaged me. Yes, bro. Already live on that one. So, yeah, crazy news. Crazy news. But maybe expected. We say crazy. We must have been expecting this. This must have been expected. Dream monitoring. Let's have a little look here. No, why not after the Chelsea game? He had to go now. He had to go now. It's as simple as that. It had to go now. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. New manager bounce against us. Potter in. He. Listen, I get why some Chelsea fans would be a little bit worried. Of course, before you play us, piss off. United 3-0. So I'll take that. Listen, the season starts now. I'm excited. Listen, I'm going to say this. I objectively got behind the decision to keep Ten Hag. I did. I got behind the decision because I wanted it to work. I didn't want to put any unnecessary pressure or negativity out there. I wanted to see how this transpired. But as we saw from almost the get-go, as we saw almost straight away, as we saw it wasn't working. There were some green shoots of hope pre-season. There were some good moments. There's some good football against Fulham. A good second half against Southampton. But our inability with the squad we have to create consistency is a massive problem for me. The likes of Ahmad playing well and then being dropped inexplicably. Investing in a Ugarte, but him not getting on the field of play. And you can go back to last season, picking Johnny Evans over Varane for no apparent reason, as an example. Playing Maswari as a number 10 when you've got Eriksson, when you've got Ahmad. These decisions, the lack of consistency, the awful results. He had to go. The rebuild has begun at Manchester United. There is no doubt about it. This was a mistake, but it has now been, partially rectified. It is now about finding a much better alternative. A head coach that can come in, who looks at this squad and says, I can get them performing. Of course, we know we want to make this squad better in the coming years. But what's really key is that the person that comes in believes in the vision of Ineos, understands what they're trying to achieve, and are singing from the same hymn sheet. We do not need a manager that looks at this squad and says, I want 23 new players in the next 2 years. We do not need a manager who has a different ideology, a different view of football compared to that of Ashworth, Barada, what Ineos want to play, what we're trying to build, whatever that may be. We need, for the first time in 11 years, synergy. And to be a little bit David Brent, synergy. We need that as a football club. Because I said it when we sacked Ollie. I said it when we sacked Jose. I said it when we sacked LVG. And I'll say it again now. If there is not fundamental change in how we operate and how we are run, if we do not hire a head coach who is on the same page as our owners, on the same page as our board, with all of them pulling in the same direction, of course, you're going to get friction and there's going to be challenge, and that's healthy. But if everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet, I believe Man United can become successful again. But we have never got that right. The reason I wanted a new manager at the end of last season is I felt the growth and the change under this new ownership of Ineos would be quicker with a new head coach. I didn't get my want and my wish. It's here now. The expectations are rising. They're rising. So I'm very happy about this. I know some people won't be. I know some people really back this manager. I know some people wanted this to work. And this isn't about attacking Ten Hag. This isn't about slagging him off. He was every much a victim at this club at times as the Paul Pogbas, as the Martials, as previous managers. He was impacted by the rotten, filthy culture that he walked into. So I am not... Go and watch my video when we announced the signing of Ten Hag. Everything that happened, I predicted, not because I'm a fortune teller, not because I know more about football than anybody else. I'm not even saying it because I'm trying to be arrogant. I'm pointing out we didn't make the changes at operational board level. The heart was not fixed. We had heart disease at this football club and we did not address it, although heart disease can't be reversed. I don't think it can. But you get my point. We needed a new engine and it didn't happen. It's right to move him on. Hopefully the next manager will be a bigger success, but I believe that person will be. As ever, I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. I want your opinions. Who do you want the next manager to be? Will it be Ruud? Will it be Xavi? Will it be Thomas Frank? Could it be in the summer somebody like an Alonso, an Inzaghi? What is the best thing for Manchester United to do from this point of view? I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. I want your opinions in our comment section below or in the live comment section as well. Make sure those like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace as well if you haven't done so already. We're getting towards 90,000 people with the bell notifications turned on. So more of you get that done, or join that group chat that you can see just there. That group chat there, you get notifications when we go live. I say that. I've actually posted this link in it. I have. This link's in there now. There's like nearly 8,000 of you in there. I'm just looking at the numbers. I didn't check that before. Go get yourself signed up so you don't miss any of our content. But we want to hear from you. KJ, we're going to open up the lines as well, but KJ is live now. KJ, he's gone. He's been sacked. He has lost his job. Talk to me.
Listen, I was minding my own business. Today, I was just getting on with my work, just around the house. Wasn't even paying attention to Twitter that much this morning. And then the group chat just starts popping off. I'm 15 minutes late to the lose. I was not expecting this whatsoever. I was thinking maybe the November international break, that's when they'll probably pull the trigger. If not that, then, bro, and into the end of the season, like, we're just going to be finished, isn't it? But they finally pulled the trigger. And listen, people say that's not fair because I have to back off that decision. It's not his fault. But I think Ineos finally have said enough is enough. These players are not scoring goals. Nothing is going right for Manchester United, and something needs to change. And the manager has to be the one to change because they can't sell all the players in January. They couldn't sell all the players and buy new players in the summer. So something had to change. And finally, he is gone. Now, I'm not sitting here saying we're now going to be fixed and we're going to be on a title charge and we're going to win the Premier League now until now to the end of the season. But at least now we can look forward to hopefully seeing some better football. Now, I don't know what Ruud is going to do with the team. I hope he tries to implement what Ineos actually want, because Ten Hag clearly weren't doing that. But I can finally watch a game with some intrigue, with some excitement, with some kind of how are we going to do today? You know what I mean? For the last few months, it's just been, I know what's going to happen. We're just not going to play well. We're going to have a scrape a 1-0 win, or we're just going to get battered, or nothing's going to go away. I was empty. I was feeling empty inside. Now that this guy is gone, I'm not saying I'm now fulfilled and I'm back and I can be happy again, but at least I can look forward to something new. At least I can be intrigued. And now I can really start to judge Ineos going forward. Because this was the one decision I was holding them back from getting judged properly, because everyone was so fixated on Ten Hag and their decision to keep him. Now that they finally did it, we can start looking forward to what's going on. I will say, we predicted this happening in terms of they didn't sack him in the international break. It's been, 4 games? And he's gone anyway. So it's one of those ones where it doesn't make the best footballing sense to have done what they did. But I'm allowing them to make a mistake. I'm allowing them to get things wrong and get it right. Because it's only not even the first year has gone past yet. They've had one summer. They've had 9 games into a season. All right, listen, big up, man. Today's a good day. 1 game, we're 9 games into a season. We're 9 games into a Premier League season. So I can't sit there and say they're the worst owners ever and we're just going to go backwards here for them, because that's no time at all to judge anyone. Ruud interim is the best thing that we can do right now. Because, listen, I don't want to hear nothing about Southgate. I see Southgate in the chat, bro. Southgate ain't coming, bro. There's no way. If Southgate comes in, yo, you're gonna see me reverse what the smile that I have. The frown will be upside down. You know what I'm saying? The smile will be upside down. I will not be happy if we get Southgate. But we need Ruud interim, and really, please, Ineos, please do some major due diligence on these managers that we want to sign. Because one of the things that we were cussing the Glazers for is Why are you chopping and changing which style of manager that you want? Why are you going from Moyes to LVG to Jose to Oli to Ten Hag? So this is your first appointment. I'm not, listen, the Ten Hag decision is now erased from my mind. That never happened. He just happened to be here. This is your first appointment. This appointment is so important because it then sets the way that you want to play from now until we get back to the top. Because say if this next manager comes in and it doesn't work, I expect Ineos to do the same they've done now, remove him from his position, and bring in a manager who can do what the manager did, but better. So I really want them to do due diligence on this manager they want to get. Make sure he plays the right football. Make sure he wants to use the players that we've got. Make sure they align themselves with the vision that Ineos have for Manchester United, and that manager can fit into that. That's what I'm hoping for, because Erik Ten Hag, he did wonders with what he did in terms of winning trophies. No one expected us to win 2 trophies in a year. Two trophies in 2 seasons, and we did that. So Ten Hag, I thank you for doing that. I thank you for having Rashford and getting him to have one of the best goal and scoring seasons we've seen at Manchester United in over 10 years. And I thank you for your effort. I will say that. You may not have been good enough, and you may have been winding us up towards the end, but you know what? You were trying. I can accept that as a manager. You weren't, I don't think you was trying to sabotage. You just weren't good enough. That's fine. It's over now. We can move on. And I wish him the best in his career. Hopefully he goes find somewhere that he can play his football and he can win trophies and leagues again like he did at Ajax. But it's now time to move on. And I really hope that we get someone good.
And I want to echo that as well. By the way, we've got the poll running. Make sure you're hitting the like button for us, people. There's just over 4,000 people tuning in. So get that like button smashed right now. I know some of you forget. I know a lot of you watch it on TV, but get the like button hit right now for us, people, and get the poll filled in as well. If you can't see the poll, just hit the refresh button and you should see that. I want to echo the thanks as well. That I have, in moments of anger, I've obviously shouted, I've screamed, I've been annoyed, I've been frustrated, I've criticized, and I stand by that criticism. But thank you for the 2 trophies. They will be ever etched into the history of the football club. As I stated, I remember that day very well. Me, you, and Danny, Devil in the Details, were in the studio in London. We'd just been out and got some really nice street food. Nice chicken and rice.
It was dizzy. It was dizzy. Easy.
It wasn't dizzy. It was when Ten Hag was announced.
Oh, no.
Announced. Yeah. And we filmed that video. We filmed it in the studio. And I remember saying words to the effect of, I have faith in this manager. I think he's a very good coach. But if we don't change the structure at the club, if we don't change how we operate, if we don't bring in better key football decision makers, he will eventually be swallowed by the rot at the football club in the same way as every previous manager. So I am not surprised it failed. And I've said this many times. I wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag leaves, takes some time out, joins another football club, and does well. I would not be surprised because I don't necessarily think he's as bad as the last 12 months or so suggests. For Man United, he's been bad, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he won't do well elsewhere. The same as I remember Spurs fans saying about Jose, I don't care what he's won before. He's been bad at my club. And that also makes sense, right? Someone's CV maybe give you a bit more time, a bit more credit in the bank, but the CV doesn't stop you from being disliked or criticized because you won trophies for previous clubs. It works the same in reverse here. I think he'll go on and do well elsewhere. So I want to thank him for what he's done, but it's the right thing for us to do. Now what it comes down to is appointing the right manager who looks at this squad and believes that he can get the best out of what there is now and then wants to add better versions of this squad. What I don't want is, right, we've got to start all over again, scrap everybody. I want someone that comes in here and says, I like Maswari, I like De Ligt, I like Onana, I like Mainu, I like Garnacho. Now, they've got to deliver against that, and if they don't, we're just going to replace them with better versions than what we've got. What I don't want is a club and a manager going, right, I want completely different profiles of players, barring 2 individuals. That's a worry for me. You know, we should have already nailed our flags that the players we signed in the summer should be part of the long-term vision of the club, irrespective of the manager. Getting that synergy is so important now. So the question I have for you, by the way, have you shared the link in the group chat with everybody else?
Yep, I've shared it out. And guess what? The rivals ain't going to come Because guess what? This is the news they didn't want to hear.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna put the link out now to the viewers. We'll put that out for you and we'll pin it up. If you put it in the Legends and group chat as well, please, that'd be great. It'd be good to hear from our Legends and super fans in the group chat as well. Actually, I'm gonna go to some of the comments before I talk about the next manager. This here from Nav makes a lot of sense. Nav here says, at least now we don't have a major division in the fan base, and finally I can enjoy watching TFT without any agendas. And look, what I'll say is this: there is no agendas on the Football Terrace. There is opinions, and what I mean by that is I have an opinion that he should have gone, but it wasn't an agenda. Again, it wasn't an agenda in the sense of I was not trying at any point to be. There were times where, like yesterday, I didn't blame him for all the misses, as an example. I still criticized the refereeing decisions yesterday. But we can't ignore how poor we were in the second half and how poor we regularly are in second halves of games. But where I do concur with you, Nav, 100%, is hopefully now the fan base can be a little bit more united. We can start playing some better football. We can be more engaged and more excited about our games coming up. And I follow some accounts, diehard Reds. So one of the Reds I follow, I think he's his granddad or his great granddad helped build the stadium. He's a long-standing Red, but born and bred himself in Salford. I saw him tweet last night, and he just said, "I never like calling out managers to be sacked. It's not my way personally." He said, "But I just can't see how this individual stays. I can't see, love him or loathe him. Doesn't matter if you back him or not. It's just finished now." When I saw him tweet that last night, I just thought to myself, it sounds like everybody is finally on the same page as fans with this, which ironically, I'm gonna shout out LB here, is exactly what LB thought Ineos were doing. Maybe it was about just giving the manager a long enough time to a point where there was no support left for him, which means everybody's in unity with the decision to move him on, which means maybe you can bring everybody together. Now, I hope what LB says is true. I really do. Bear here says Mourinho said he wants to take over a mid-table club. I think it suits you very well, like Ancelotti at Everton.
Hey, man, we've been here before, baby. We've been there before.
Yeah, that's certainly true. So I'm just bookmarking when we started doing the super chats in the comments, just so people can come back and see our interactions with what they are saying. Thank you as well to Ads for becoming a new member of the Football Terrace, you legend. Sam Lowe, 4 months as a member as well. Thank you. Interesting. Now, Sam reports is very credible. Very credible. Says here that Man United are going to try their luck and approach Julia Nagelsmann to become the Manchester United manager. What's your thoughts on reading that, KJ?
That would be such a power play for Man United. And that would, I think, make a lot of fans come back on board with Ineos, because I think a lot of fans have come off the train already with the way they handle this Ten Hag situation. But if they pull out Julian Nagelsmann, who is young enough to come in, plays good football, and has a name as well, he's got a name in the game. I think those three things that a lot of fans are looking for, he would be, quote unquote, what people would see as the perfect manager to come in for Manchester United. Ironically, the England will have a German manager, and if we get Nagelsmann, the biggest club in England also will have a German manager. So I'd love to see what some people say about that. But no, I think Nagelsmann would be great. I think he's a name that can attract big players. Obviously, we've been linked heavily to Alphonso Davies recently. We've been linked to some decent players of decent caliber. So I think someone like him coming in would galvanize the dressing room, get them excited to work underneath him and play some good football. And also people from the outside, agents, players, other teams would probably take Man United a bit more seriously, seeing that they've gone after someone like Nagelsmann. Now, this is probably the only time we could probably try and get him, because by the time 2025 hits, they're in training mode for the World Cup. I think when you're building towards a World Cup, then it's not happening. You know what I mean? You're not going to get him because he'll be so focused on that. We haven't even started the qualifiers. Germany, obviously, off the back of an upsetting and disappointing Euros campaign in the end, with the way they went out against Spain. So I think this could be a decent time for him to leave and be like, you know what, this opportunity has come up. I love you, Germany. I'll come back whenever, like maybe in the future to hopefully win us a World Cup or Euros. But I want to take this opportunity. I think it would be the best time to do it. If he didn't join the qualifiers or join the build-up towards the World Cup, I think it'd just be really hard for him to say yes to us. But hopefully we can do it.
Look, it's a tough one to get. I like Julian Nagelsmann. It's interesting that when he was removed from the Bayern Munich job, there was that sort of handsy flick treatment of I proved he wasn't good enough, but yet Bayern begged him to come back. They realized that they made a mistake, but he said no. They say never go back as well. They always say, a lot of people say an X is an X for a reason sometimes, but I wouldn't be disheartened with a manager like him. I like his brand of football. I like how he plays. I like how he approaches things. Obviously, we're linked to Almarim. There is also links to Xavi. There are links and I want someone that plays a more progressive brand of football. And I say that because I don't mind someone that can become pragmatic away from home against City, away from home against Liverpool. I grew up on that. I'm not against it. But we need to be able to develop a brand of football where, especially at home and against the vast majority of our opponents, with the money we spend on our squad, where we can dominate the ball, where we can be the aggressor. However, we need to be able to do that in a really good structured system where we're not like under Ten Hag, where the midfield, as I called it, Ten Hag's Island, where you just expose people. So look, there's been a lot of names links to us. Man United have been doing their due diligence. There is no doubt about it. An update here, actually, about the situation today. It says those within Man United say the decision on Ten Hag was difficult but unanimous. With no momentum or progression, the club considered the poor start in both the Premier League and Europa League and found no justifiable excuses. So they've come out and said that. Some will say they should have done this earlier. They believe they were going to give him as much time as possible to get these performances to turn around, to get the results on the board. He hasn't done that. Last night, they made a unanimous decision, which was announced this morning. The one thing I do really like as well is that the decision was made last night, but it did not leak until this morning, which shows that they are running that element airtight, and it's the right thing to do to move on from this point. But viewers, do us a favor right now, and I know some of you are going to write Southgate, okay, because you're rivals and you're upset and you're angry right now. But who do you honestly think? Can we be objective for 2 minutes? Who do you honestly think Manchester United should now appoint as their next manager to improve things? Let us know in the comment section, but we've got some people backstage as well that we are going to bring on. If you guys who were backstage, to let us know in the private chat, like who you support and what you're here to say, so we can kind of get the order right in terms of bringing you out. That would be amazing. I'm going to share the link again to call in, just because I didn't pin it before because I got really busy. And I tell you what, KJ, I can't wait to start getting better Wi-Fi so I can have more than one window open at once. So I've posted that link for you guys to call in and have your say. Want to get your opinions on this? I've pinned that live comment up. Make sure you're smashing the like button for us as well, people. We're closing in on 1,000 likes, but I think we can do a hell of a lot better than we're doing right now.
Look who's backstage.
So get those. Oh, who's backstage? Oh, Cam.
Yeah.
Canadian Cam. We got the King's Football Show. We've got Winter Surfer. We'll be bringing you all out to have your say. Hit the like and the share button, people. As I say, get yourself subscribing. We've got CJ backstage. We'll bring on Sue. But Canadian Cam, who's out for a stroll this morning. Talk to us, brother. And unmute yourself, first of all. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, fuck. As you know, it's real early for me. On the way to work first, but this is crazy. I was like, he's still. I'm a bit more confused, honest. Bringing in Rude like now, it's like we should have done this like 4 weeks ago if we're gonna do that. But I'm now interested to see if we'll move really, really quickly. And my ears popped up when you said Nagelsmann. I'm like, oh, whoa, I gotta let me jump on the show because that's a manager I would absolutely love. I'm kind of like I've been on the fence where I'm like I don't know who I'd like. I don't know enough about some of the managers they're talking about. But Nagelsmann is somebody that I just written off saying he would never come. If we pull that off, then it's like I think all the pain we endured would be okay. Straight up. If that's why you were waiting, if you were sitting there saying we need enough time to convince this dude, then I'm cool with everything. Like literally, everything's forgotten. Like how long it took, I don't care. I mean, I've never really cared that much, but it's starting to get drawing for me. And you guys know I'm typically optimistic, and I'm typically give the manager time, all that. I don't come down on the manager or players. I reach the point where I'm like, it's just so, what's the word? Predictable. Everything that was going to happen to us, everything that did happen to us. And now I'm just like, at least there's a sense of joy. Like my friends who are on my other group chats, all my Chelsea fans are like, are you kidding me? They're like, right before us. Wait, what a week. Everybody's not happy about it. So you always say it, when your rivals aren't happy about something, then it was the right thing. So that's
no,
I
agree. And do you know what's interesting? I know that I've frustratingly in some ways, Cam, I've seen Ineos get more stick from the media in the last 4 weeks than I've on a footballing level than I've seen the media give the Glazers in 17 years. And the criticism wasn't completely wrong, but I thought that the balance in how much they spoke. I mean, any time under the sole Glazer ownership, where the Glazers were blamed for on-the-field issues, manager issues, player issues, the mainstream media, by and large, shut it down, dismissed it, and said they don't pick the team, they don't sign the players, they don't coach the side, they're not missing the chances. When it came to Ineos, I thought the media coverage was the complete opposite. Everything is being blamed on them. Lies about, oh my God, they're too cheap to book their own private planes, when it turns out it's common practice in football to do this. They're incompetent because they haven't sacked the manager yet, etc. If the next appointment is successful and we start to improve, this little moment now becomes a footnote. And do you know why I'm confident about that? Right now, nobody, I repeat, nobody is talking about the first 2 years under Clearlake and Todd Bowley at Chelsea. No one's talking about it. They're speaking about the improvements. They're talking about how they can get better. They're talking about title charges. They're talking about Champions League football. Nobody is saying, okay, no one's going, well done, well done, well done. But remember, it took 2 years to get you here, which is why I'm saying to Man United fans for the last few weeks on Ineos, keep your powder dry. Don't get your butt crack out just yet for rivals on Ineos. Hold it down. Maybe in 2 years, 3 years, if nothing's improved, go in. But hold back on it right now. Give it some time. And look, they made the right decision today. Hopefully we get the right manager in next and we can start to get back to somewhat recognizing this football club.
Yeah, man. And if by some chance we end up with Thomas Frank, well, like I said to KJ already, I want my own 15 minutes. I will spend 15 minutes breaking down why it was a great managerial signing. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, I wouldn't mind him. But he would never take the job on like an interim basis. And now that Ten Hag's gone, like realistically, you can take your time and just get the right guy. So like for me, it was like if you were to bring Thomas Frank in, it should have been like last year early. Give him like a very short leash. But now we got time to look. So take the time. But I'm gonna head. I'll see you guys soon. I just wanted to hop on because when I saw the news and saw my phone blowing up, I'm like, shit, let me get on and chat about it.
No, I hear you, mate. And literally, I was just looking there at all the other the Man United channels that went live and everything else. Like everybody went live between 30 and 34 minutes ago. It was just like the maddest like tsunami of people going live. Because I don't know about you lot. The last time we lost, I kind of expected the sacking and it never came. Where this morning, I think everybody kind of got caught off guard. But Cam, I'll let you crack on, mate. I know you got the little one. I assume you're out walking the baby.
No, I'm walking the dog. Steph's out in the Bahamas with the baby. So I
wait. Baby. She's out there living life in the hot sun with the baby, and you're out here walking the dog.
I'm out here walking the dog in the cold. You know, I got to work still.
However, listen, I remember when my babies were all little and mum wants to go away. I'm like, great. You get to sleep in. There's no night feed. It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
It's not as bad.
Go on, babe. Go away. Yeah. I remember. My other half was like, I'm gonna go stay with my mum for a couple of weeks, but I know you've got work. I was exhausted. I was 6 months. The baby was 6 months old. I was exhausted. You're not going to be upset if we're away for like a week or two. I was like, no, I'll be okay. I'll survive. Honestly, I was so looking forward to not being woken up in the night. It was amazing. So, yeah, I hear you, brother. Cam, we'll chat again soon, my G. Cheers, mate.
See you soon. Peace.
All right, mate. Bye. We've got a lot of other people backstage we will bring on to speak. But King's Football Show, how are you, mate? I muted you, by the way. Unmute yourself, mate. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect, mate. Let us know who you support, brother.
I support Arsenal.
Okay. Yeah, no, we spoke before, actually. I remember, yes. What you here to say, my friend?
Yeah, for me, it was the right decision. I think they should have sacked Ten Hag during the summer. And the reason why I thought they should have done it during the summer, it was the best opportunity to move on from players like Bruno, because he hadn't extended his contract. So they could have put in a manager who could have get in a new captain and like start a new era with a clean slate. But they didn't do it. Fair play. They sacked him today. I think Erik Ten Hag cannot complain about anything because they backed him with time. They backed him with players. They've given him backroom staff. They've given him new coaching staff. They've given him a new structure. And at the end of the day, he's failed massively. Like Manchester United should not be 14th in the league. And they should definitely not be, is it 21 in the Europa League?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And when you look at how many games he's lost since he's been there, how many games United have been battered, he's except the 2 trophies that he won, he's been horrendous, if we're totally honest. And I think it was the right decision. What Ineos have to do now is to decide what is the blueprint they want to implement in terms of style of play, profile which manager can implement that style of play, and then get that manager. But it also has to be someone that the players will respect. And this is why I think that someone like a Thomas Frank, who's not like a big ex-player and has never really managed a big club or big players and big personalities, is the wrong choice. Not that I think he's not a good manager, but I think similar to Graham Potter, the players will not respect him. And when you see that you have a bad form, the media, everybody will turn on him, questioning him. And I just think the pressure is too much for someone like the Thomas Frank.
Do you know what's interesting? The elements of Thomas Frank I like. My question mark over him is handling the pressure of Man United. This will trigger some rivals. I know in league position we're awful. We haven't challenged for 11 years. From a media standpoint, we are still by far and away the biggest club in England. The pressure is simply different. So we have to think long and hard. And I think there's pros and cons to everybody we're linked to, if I'm being honest, because we're not linked to somebody who's got the reputation of an Ancelotti or a Pep or a Klopp. Everybody either hasn't managed a big club yet, or they've had a few failings here and there, or you think about like Xavi's a great example. Got the profile of the player, managed a club where the media pressure is similar or as big, but there's question marks over whether or not he's actually kind of good enough to develop a team. Barcelona fans were questioning him on that. Nagelsmann, can he handle it? But he has been at Bayern Munich. He's been the German manager. They're high-pressure jobs. So, yeah, I think there's pros and cons, but you're spot on when it comes to Ten Hag, mate. Look, Kings, thank you very much for coming on and having your say, brother. I really do appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to bring some other callers through as well now. If I say the name wrong, I'm sorry. Is it Arush?
It's Ayush.
Ayush. There we go.
Hi,
thank
man.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Not a problem at all, mate. What are you here to say, brother?
I think United need to think long and hard about who they go after right now. And instead of going after somebody who's big, they need to have that progression step moment. If you want to give it to Ruud, I think Ruud is a really good footballing brain. We've seen that from his time as a player. I used to be an Arsenal fan, so I was never a huge fan of him, especially with Martin Keown and everything. And yeah, he's caused me a lot of problems back in the school days. But I think as a manager, he was pretty decent in his 1 year in the Eredivisie. If you give him some time and then use that time while he's in the interim role to find somebody who's actually going to work with your profile. I like what you said earlier, that you need to get somebody who doesn't come in and gut the whole team and take all the players out and want a complete overhaul. That won't be helpful for the club. It won't be helpful for Ineos as well, who've spent a lot of money trying to get all these players in the summer. You try and find Xavi could be good. Yeah, what you said was right about he could handle the pressure. I mean, Barcelona, it's not only the pressure from the fans and everything. The Spanish media is also really, really, it's like they're breathing down your neck every time you get a draw or a bad result. But I think Xavi would be good later on. I'm not sure if you'll get Nagelsmann though right now. I think he's too tied in with the Germany thing till 2026, right? I don't think Zidane will work out either because he's probably waiting on the France job, and I can't wait. I'm a France fan as well, so I can't wait to see Deschamps leave because I think he's past his sell-by date long time now. Thomas Frank could be nice as well, yeah.
I think what you've said, though, is right. There has to be an element here of good due diligence. I'm not against replacing a lot of these players in terms of quality. What I don't want is someone that says, I want to change every single profile of player that we've got. That, for me, is always a red flag to you and the club, especially when you think about the amount of players that the new ownership have signed already. Someone has got to look at those. So one of the reasons why the Thomas Frank deal had a big red flag, which was he wasn't a very big fan of like De Ligt. You've just spent money on De Ligt. Would Thomas Frank then be the right appointment with someone that he's already had a cross path with? But I think you're right there. My friend, thank you for calling in and giving us your thoughts and feelings, mate. I appreciate it massively. Top man. Thank you. Indiana, how are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm working, and I've got 3 little kids running around. Supposed to be going on holiday at 5 o'clock. And do you know what? You know what it's like, Terry? 3 young kids. It's supposed to be a holiday. Go on holiday. The next thing you have to have a fucking holiday when you get back, mate. It's terrible. So
I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't go on holiday with the kids. I just don't do it. No.
Well, apparently we have to. But yeah. So I'll just be quick. I disagree with what people have said. Actually, I think keeping Ten Hag was the right move. I'm tired of getting in the manager in hope and throwing a load of money at the project and seeing whether that just happens, because that hasn't worked. People need to remember, we didn't give him a new contract. It was extended. We looked at other managers. Deal couldn't be done. Didn't get the right guy. Maybe, just maybe, they've been trying to find the right guy and get the right deal. And that's why they've held on for so long to sack him. Because I think everybody who watches football knows that it was only going one way under Ten Hag. I'm not sure how Ruud would do. I think everyone will support what he's doing. But I also, with the players, I think when you look at the transfer window, young, adaptable players, rather than, bringing in a lot of old players on high wages that already got those bad habits set in their ways, etc., etc. So I don't actually care who the manager is. I just hope they're getting the manager that they want for football purposes, rather than a big name, some sort of shirt signing. And yeah, just see how that kind of plays out.
I hear you. Just breaking news from Superchats Cavalieri is that Omar Barada is currently holding extensive talks with Xavi about possibly becoming the Man United manager in the coming weeks. I'm a little bit in your mind frame. I think you're right that there's pros and cons for every manager we're linked to, but like every signing that we got wrong prior to Ineos, same as the manager now, it has to be for the right footballing reasons. We've done this LVG to a Jose, to somebody we've read in their blood, somebody that's seen as a bit more of a modern day manager in Ten Hag as an example. When you actually look back, and hindsight's lucrative, and reflect, did we actually go to these managers because we felt they could progress what we'd started building under the previous manager to that next level? Hansi Flick hasn't gone into Barcelona and gone, I'm ripping this whole, what you've been doing in the last 3 years, I'm ripping it all up and starting again. Vincent Kompany hasn't gone to Bayern Munich and said, everything you guys have been doing for however long, I'm ripping it up and we're starting again. It's about taking the baton off the previous manager and head coach and taking the team to another level. That footballing decision, you're absolutely spot on with, has to be correct.
100%. And before I go, I just want to put this out there. Imagine this new manager comes in and it's the manager everyone wants, and then he loves Bruno and Rashford. Wouldn't that be interesting? Anyway, love to all.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say Indiana.
I can't deal with the nonsense, Terry. You know me. So anyway, love to all. Take care, people.
See you later, mate. Take care. Twisted Bubba here says, Terry, what football do you want? Winning football is what I want. Winning football. I'll be honest with you. I'm not, my personal subjective passion for how I want the football to look is almost irrelevant, if I'm being honest with you, Twisted Bubba. I want football that makes us win games. When I look at the way Man United, I don't care whether it's heavily pragmatic or the most expansive in the league. I want to watch it and feel like we can win 70, 80% of our games. In fact, I want to watch it against teams that spend a fraction of what we do and think, I want to feel confident of winning 90 to 95%, if not more, of those games. I don't quite care stylistically how it looks per se. I'm really not that married to it. Yoel, what you saying, my brother?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm very well, my friend.
I don't want Xavi. I'll just say this straight away. I don't want him. Because if you've seen his time in Barcelona, he pretty much has the same problem that Ten Hag has in terms of his ability to set up the team defensively. And that is one of our worst mistakes within Ten Hag's time. And I just feel like it will be the same. It will be a repeat of the same thing with him. As for who I want, it would be Nagelsmann or Sebastian Hoeness from Stuttgart. Those two would pretty much work in terms of what we're trying to do in terms youth intake plus the players we have right now. What do you guys think?
I listen. I don't think I understand your reservations on Xavi. I totally get them. I like Sebastian Hoeness. I think there's a very, very talented manager in there. My only question mark over him is just, could he handle the bear pit, which is Man United, in terms of the media attention and the pressure that comes with it? That's my only concern. But the only two managers seemingly available in the world that have coped with anything similar would be Xavi or Nagelsmann that are available. You could argue if we went and took Inzaghi from Inter, that's obviously a high pressure job. But I think, listen, I'm not going to agree or disagree with your point. I think it holds water, mate. I think it's logical.
I think the Hoeness thing is interesting, and I made a joke saying bring him in after he beat after Juve. I did not watch that game at all because I got things to do. But from what I've seen from threads of people explaining and videos I've watched of him, he is young and he's excited. And I've said this before. Football is no longer about names. The names thing is dying out, like the superstar names, the big names from managers and players. Those are dying. It's about, can you play good football or can you not? And that's what it is. Can you play winning football or can you not? And I think with Hoeness, he's shown that he can. Because look at the resources he's got at Stuttgart. Not a lot. They were normally a yo-yo club in the Bundesliga, up and down, up and down. They've never seen Champions League like this for a long time, I don't think, anyway, if my memory serves correct. And he's got them competing against the best teams in Europe. He competes against Bayern Munich week in, week out. He competes against he obviously beat Juve. And from the way that he plays, from what I've seen, it's something different. That's something that we haven't seen at Man United. Something that I would like to see at Man United. Now, if we get him in the end, that's a different story. And if he does come in, there is the pressure. There is dealing with the players, because obviously these guys have had so many different managers. Dealing with what they've been through as well is going to be hard. But I would be excited if he came in. He may not be the right one right now. Maybe we need to wait for him to develop a bit more. But if he did come in, I hope we give him time.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. At the end of the day, you look at how well Chelsea are doing at the moment. Most people didn't expect it because they hired a championship manager. Most people saying keep Poch, keep Poch. Poch had the reputation and the name and the sort of the hype around him. And Maresca's gone, in my opinion, has done a much better job already. Mr. M, what are you here to say, brother?
Yeah. I just want to say, this is basically United's biggest appointment coming up, since Ferguson left, because, City, we think Guardiola's in his last year, or he's coming to the end. So there's sort of a vacant space coming up. And I think, everyone around below City, we're looking at, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm feeling a little bit better than a couple of years ago, but everyone's sort of vying who to be next. And everyone's looking at Man United a decade of nothing really. But it can change pretty quickly. Like Liverpool spent 20 years getting it wrong. And then with the Klopp appointment, they sort of established themselves as the second best team after a couple of years of Klopp. So I don't see why Man United can't do the same thing with the right appointment.
Yeah, listen, I agree. Listen, I agree. I know it's banter from fans, but the idea that Man United can't get back to or close to the very top is crazy. I know that Ineos have had a lot of stick so far, especially from the media and everything else, but they get this appointment right. And look, this will be their first managerial appointment. You could argue keeping Ten Hag classes as their first. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I've always said on this decision, I can't understand it logically, but I think one day we might receive an explanation that makes sense. And I think LB hit the nail on the head. I really do think he's right. And maybe now I can see it with more clarity because the decision is over. And that's give him the time and the support and backing to be successful. But if he doesn't, we give him long enough until all support is eroded. And I think it maybe makes it easier for the next manager. Why did Tuchel struggle at Bayern Munich? Half the board and half the fan base were still angry after 2 years that Nagelsmann had been removed, or 1 year after he'd been removed. And that was still a key factor. And I think you've got to get that balance right. So look, I hope you're right. I hope our next appointment works. I'm so, as entitled as it may sound, I'm so desperate for Man United to get back up there and start competing. In fact, I don't want to go that far. I'm just desperate to look forward to a Man United game consistently. I would say in the last 9 months, maybe a bit longer, there's only been 3 or 4 matches where genuinely I've been excited about the game coming up. I've been dreading it. And that, as a football fan, no matter what level of the game your club's at, that is not a nice feeling to be fearful of your games, to worry about your games not like being played. And I hope that changes, Mr. M. Baz, what you saying, brother?
Well, first, before, I just knew Jose is going to destroy Ten Hag on Thursday, so I think Ruud will have a better chance at that game. So that's good to start. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to everything, I kind of see what Ineos is trying to do, and what they're trying to do isn't going to happen overnight. I understand why they tried to stick with Ten Hag, but at the end of the day, you just got to get results, right? Results are the key to everything in life, and especially Manchester United. Now, in terms of the new manager, I think that right now we don't have to rush it right away. We got to get it right, just like you guys are saying. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy has been brought in as a plan B for this situation exactly. Let's see what he does. We're not going to – we already have the experience. We're not going to go – if he gets on a good run, this whole Ollie thing that we did again, you know what I mean? But in the end of the day, I think we got to get it right, and we can't just go and think this top manager is going to get it right. It's got to be someone that fits in with the vision of the club, the vision that they've set out, and it's got to be almost a 100% match for this to work out and to go where we want it. Pretty much, right?
Yeah, it is going to take time, and I think that's such a contentious point because people go, no, a manager should implement his style and get us playing brilliantly straight away. I know they won yesterday, but look at Crystal Palace. Look at the first 3 months under Grasner versus the last 3 months, and I understand they lost some players in the summer, but there's always peaks and troughs. You know, you shouldn't judge the new manager like Ruud. If Ruud goes on an Ollie run now, let's keep our powder dry and not be doing the sign the thing. We've got to keep our powder dry. Yep. If Xavi comes in and starts well, hold up. If Xavi comes in and maybe starts a little slower than we wanted him to, hold up a little bit. Man United getting to where Chelsea are right now, let alone getting to where Liverpool, Arsenal, and City are, is going to take time. However, I think what will get most Man United fans on board and keep the faith is if the football is good, if the football is entertaining, and we can see that progression. We've seen Chelsea lose and drop points this season, but their fans are looking at it going, oh, that was a mistake from this player, or a little bit of my immaturity as a team, but I can see what we're doing. And I just think that United fans have been starved of that, and we're hungry for it. So it is going to take time to get us back to the very top, but we should be looking for those improvements in the system, in the structure, and in the behavior of players. I think you're absolutely spot on, Baz.
There's one other thing though, and I watched a really interesting documentary the other day, just a thing about Jose Mourinho forcing a team of losers to win, and he was talking about Manchester United basically, forcing us to finish second, forcing us to win the Europa League for whatever. and I was just listening to Rude's channel, or not Rude, Rio's channel right before, and his reaction to it, and he made a really interesting point. Is these players are used to not delivering, so we need to bring someone also that demands that they deliver. I mean, even when Sir Alex Ferguson came in, he demanded that.
No, Badger's spot on, and that takes time as well because it's energy levels, right? We've done it 3 weeks running. Now you've got to do it 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Training that consistency into an athlete's mind who isn't used to it, it takes time. It really does. I've got about 6 minutes left, so I want to try and get to everybody and get through these super chats here because I have an appointment I've got to get to. As United fans, I'm so glad this happened before I went to I would have been so angry being in the chiropractors, having my back cracked, and then this news broke. I'd have been fuming. United fans are baffling, think they are above Southgate. Any other mid-table club, Southgate would be a good appointment. United are factually a mid-table. When people write these things like you are factually a mid-table club, I do love it. And this is what you would say at the same time. Le Rouge something blue. I can't read French, but there we go, right? This is what you would say if we went for a mid-table manager is no ambition, no standards. Do you know what I mean? So, and this is why I push back against Standards FC. The way you've written that super chat tells me you're part of Standards FC, in my personal belief, which is fine. But if you aim for a manager like Southgate, we're told we have no standards and we're a disgrace. If we reject a manager like Southgate, you tell us we're a mid-table club anyway. It's why it's hard to take seriously. He had to go. One, a fan base is half in, half out. It becomes very toxic. I've seen this with my club, Arsenal, with Wenger. I hear you there. Had to happen right before the Chelsea game. Hopefully we don't let the bounce affect us and we play our game. Big up both. Love the terrace. Thank you very much. And Mourinho said okay, already done that super chat there. Just very quickly, because I've literally got a couple of minutes. Sorry, guys. CJ, what do you want to say, bro? I know you've been waiting a while.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is typical Ineos, man. One, you decide to keep Ten Hag. And then a week before we play you guys, you decide to let the guy go. And as a United fan, and I mean like you and CJ and all the United fans, I can imagine you waking up this morning and you seeing this news and you go, fuck me. Thank God I'm not in jail anymore. And I think for me, the most important thing is the manager you guys get moving forward. It's either going to be the players or the squad you have are good enough, or the manager really is going to have to just gut that whole team and just start afresh. Because I think you look at Ten Hag and you're going, is he really that bad of a manager, or the squad just isn't good enough? So, if you go get Xavi and he comes in and you guys are, playing some good football and everything looks a lot better, then the question would have been, why didn't you sack Ten Hag later? But I'm really, as a rival fan, I'm not liking this at all. At least delay that decision to next weekend. Because now you're just ruining plans we have. It's kind of sad, but I think the guy has to go. Even as a rival fan, I'm watching you guys and I'm going, this reminds me of Frank Lampard when he came back in the second season. It's just a shambles. The football is not enjoyable. And I really don't know how you guys get through it. But then I remember how we got through it, and I'm like, yeah, it's just part of the game. But I think it's a good decision from your owners, and hopefully you guys don't do any better than we do this season, because I will really hate that. But yeah, that's all I got.
I hear you on that, CJ, and I get why rivals are a little bit worried. Brian, what you here to say, my bro?
Man, I know you got your appointment coming up, so I'll be quick. The biggest win is for group chats everywhere, because holy has it been toxic. Oh my goodness. KJ has been getting on my last nerves in our group chat, bro. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for all of us. So hopefully we get it. Hopefully we can actually enjoy watching games going forward, because my goodness, has it been bad. Give me a manager that prioritizes the midfield and doesn't disrespect it, and that's enough for me for the rest of the season, to be honest.
Listen, but I've not said this on stream, but I will say it. I have been very frustrated with KJ myself in the last month. The negativity has been killing me. In the sense of it's just every day we ain't sacking him. He's here. And it's like, oh, KJ, just stop. It's not even. It's just I don't want to hear it. It's just KJ, sharp. I don't want to hear it. So no, I hear you, bro. So it's a great day for that. Brian, who would you like to come in? Who's on your list personally?
I don't even care at this point, to be honest with you. I really don't. I just, to be honest, I just want to enjoy watching Manchester United. I would like to see us score some goals, play some good football, win some games. Like, anybody who can come in and do those things for me is good enough until they're not good enough. And then we get rid of them. So
I understand that. And Sunshine's here with us as well. Obviously, it was a painful match reaction yesterday. How you feeling now that the manager is gone?
Same way, bro. I said a long time ago, I know I haven't got all day. I know I can rant and rant and rant from passion, but I'll keep it short and simple. I did say a long time ago, you know, if Ineos keep him cool, he'll only be here for a season. If they get rid of him, it's cool either way. I was happy once the structure came in. I think it's the right decision at this stage, given the situation. I think yesterday was unlucky. I've said many times where I think there's been games where it's not been on the manager, but prior to that, there have been mistakes, heavy mistakes over the past 3 seasons, which has just built up. I think you said as well, Terry, about water being under the bridge and too much, and that should be a reason to get rid of him. And I think that's the reason why it's got to the stage why he's unable to turn it around, because there has been too many mistakes. The reality is we've got Ruud in. I'm happy with Ruud as an interim. I'm not too sure if I'm going to support the Ollie-esque situation if he does well. I just don't want to repeat of that. I could be wrong. It could happen. It could go well. But for me, manager-wise, I would love to see Xabi Alonso for the simple fact that I think he's an incredible manager. His IQ for the game is incredible. Very, very smart man. But also, wouldn't it be great to stick that to Liverpool fans as well, turning him up at Anfield and slapping them there? I'd take Xavi, of course, but my dark horse would be Unai Emry. I have to say, I wasn't a big fan of Unai Emry at Arsenal. I respected what he did in La Liga, etc. But to see what he's done with Aston Villa and to see him maintain his own ethos and structure. Yes, he was stubborn. Again, people think stubbornness is an issue. It's only an issue if you don't get the right result in the end. Unai Emry, for me, has shown a level that he could step up and do that job and take that kind of weight. He saw his interview the other day with about McGinn, giving him all the praise, and he shut it down and said McGinn just needs to do better. Like, that type of mentality already tells me that he's about his business. So any of those 3, I would entertain. But I do trust Ineos to get it right, and I do believe they've taken the right amount of time to at least consider a manager, even when they said they were backing him, which I think is the right thing to do, which is why Ten Hag's probably got a little bit more time. But it is right to get rid. They're happy to take Ruud van Nistelrooy's interim, and I think it gives them more time to go and structure a proper manager to take away the heat from the club and to at least give us an opportunity to do something well this season. So good timing from them.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to be back live at 6 p.m. today for the Top 6 show. So this video will redirect you there. We're obviously going to jump into this in more detail then because I do have to shoot now to an appointment. Thank you to everyone who's phoned in. Thank you to all the super chatters. Ten Hag has gone. The future is now maybe now looking a little bit brighter. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace. Maybe the stream will end in a minute. It didn't end. I did press it.